Breaking news tonight. Police desperately searching for a beautiful little 3-year-old Florida girl, Caylee, after her grandparents report her missing. Little Caylee now not seen for 11 long weeks. Last seen with her mother. So why didn't Mommy call police? Bombshell tonight. In the last hours, with evidence mounting against her, Mom Casey Anthony walks out of jail, surrounded by private bodyguards. That's right. Free, on bond, again. While a press release states an anonymous party posted the $500,000 bond because Mom Casey's, quote, rights have been violated, tonight we learn grandparents Cindy and George Anthony actually signed a promissory note, backing by collateral that note to get Mom Casey out of jail. And sources confirm there was so much of the powerful chemical solution, chloroform, discovered by the FBI in Mom Casey Anthony's car trunk, even the air within the trunk was saturated. The air was saturated with chloroform. Mom Casey's computer revealing multiple visits to websites on chloroform. Investigators on the record confirmed there is forensic evidence of human decomposition in Mom Casey's car trunk. All indicators are it was 3-year-old little Caylee. And tonight, volunteers told to search for a rolled-up rug, a duffel bag, and bones. As the search goes on, swamps, forests, bodies of water. Where is 3-year-old Caylee?
What happened with your daughter, Casey? What did you do?
Casey, where's your daughter? Where is Caylee? I support you, Casey. I support you. Hold your head up high.
Casey Anthony is now out of jail for the second time. She's a free mom again for the second time.
Jose Baez this time had a couple of people in front of him, kind of blocking, almost bouncer-type people. We counted about 20 news crews that were here. There are helicopters overhead.
They are right around the corner. As you can see, we're starting to see the media trucks. So get ready. They are about to pull into their driveway.
We did confirm that it was George and Cindy Anthony who signed promissory notes with bond companies to get them to put up the $500,000 bond.
Casey Anthony arrived at her parents' home on Hope Spring Drive to a swarm of protesters and reporters. When I tried to find out how Cindy felt about Casey coming home again, she drowned out my questions with a loud alarm.
Cindy, did you want to say anything about Casey coming home? Cindy, did you want to say anything?
We know that the last time when she was bailed out, she had 8 days being home. We know that we didn't get any forward movement into where little Caylee is. After all, this is all about what happened to her daughter. So now I'll be curious to find what's going to happen next.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Breaking news tonight in the desperate search for a 3-year-old Florida girl, Caylee. Mom Casey Anthony walks free from jail again.
The mother of missing Florida toddler Caylee Anthony is free again as we speak.
Anthony was surrounded by media this morning. You can barely make her out there. She was escorted out of the Orange County Jail wearing an ankle monitoring bracelet and a T-shirt with Caylee's picture on it.
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
We got a notice about the car on Tuesday, July 15th. When I finally met up with Casey, she said that Caylee was with the babysitter, Zanny.
Caylee wasn't with her like she had told me she was with her for the last month.
During that period of time, did you have any communication with the child?
No.
You were denied that opportunity?
It was an inopportunity, or there is all I can say.
She was kidnapped by Zaneta, and and that's what she's maintained. She told me, some things during the month of June because she was trying to look for her and try to get her back herself.
There was no reason to believe that Casey and Caylee weren't together at any time.
My next thing will be down to trial thing, and we'll have a court order together. If that's what you want to say, we'll do it, and you'll never. Well, then you have one more day. No, I'm not giving you another day. I've given you a month.
Straight out to our producer, Natisha Lance, standing by there outside the Anthony home. It's a madhouse. What's happening?
Well, Nancy, it was pretty quiet up until now. Protesters came in with signs, as you can see right behind me. They are protesting right in front of the Anthony house. And last week, Cindy Anthony had actually put down some no trespassing signs, which they actually tore through today. Neighbors came out as well, and they were going back and forth with the protesters saying, we live in this neighborhood, you don't know this family, and they're saying, we don't care, we think that Casey is guilty and she needs to be back in jail. It actually turned a little bit violent. One of the neighbors took a sign from a protester, and that kind of ensued into a little punching match back and forth. Police did show up on the scene, and they did try to quiet things down, but the protesters, as you see right behind me, are still right back at it.
Tell me, is there a group that is pro-Casey Anthony and a group that is wanting her back in jail?
There was a group earlier here today, Nancy, that was pro-Casey Anthony, and they were over at the jail today, too, when she was released. And earlier today, there was a bit of a traffic jam in front of the house, and they were exchanging words back and forth, saying that they didn't think Casey was guilty, and then the other side was saying that they did think Casey was guilty. So it's just as it's playing out in the public, it's in this neighborhood, it's affecting people very seriously, too.
Natisha, you were there at the jail when Casey Anthony walked free. What happened?
Well, it was almost identical to her release before, not only in terms of time, but also in terms of the weather. They did take a few more precautions this time, though, Nancy. They had an area roped off with yellow caution tape because they didn't want to have a reoccurrence of what happened before. So media was not to go past this yellow line. And once Casey did come out of the jail, she had two bodyguards who were with her, also with Jose Baez. She was scrunched down behind them, still wearing that Where is Caylee t-shirt that she was arrested in last Friday. They got into the Dodge Durango with very dark tinted windows, and they were off to the parents' home.
We are taking your calls live out to Nikki Pierce with WDBO Radio. Nikki, we had learned from a press release of some sort yesterday that there was an anonymous benefactor who got Casey Anthony out from behind bars because, quote, her constitutional rights were violated. In my hand right here, I've got two bond documents that state, in fact, the Anthonys, George and Cindy Anthony, signed a promissory note backing it up with collateral to get her out.
That's true. It does seem to be contradictory evidence. Yesterday, someone allegedly gave at least part of the money, saying that her constitutional rights had been violated. Today, as you just noted, the bond documents say that the Anthonys put up a promissory note. Now, I'm not entirely sure how that works, if they had to put up any part of the bond, but it's still a little unclear what the truth actually is. But, of course, the bond documents are probably more likely to tell the true story.
Out to the lines, Joanne in Iowa. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
My question is, I was wondering, does Casey feel that if Caylee isn't found, that then they can't proceed to put more charges upon her?
Excellent question. Let's unleash the lawyers tonight. Veteran trial lawyer out of the California jurisdiction, Daniel Horowitz, is with us, along with Joey Jackson out of New York, also a veteran trial lawyer. What about it, Daniel?
Well, you know, we just had a case in Oakland, California, where Hans Reiser was convicted of murder, and they never found his wife's body. They just found a little bit of trace evidence in the car. The jury convicted him, and after conviction, for a lesser sentence, he led them to his wife's body. So you don't need a body to get a conviction.
Absolutely not. In fact, Joey, it is very common for murder cases to go forward without a body.
Oh, no. No doubt, Nancy. That's the reality of our time. You know, unfortunately, prosecutors oftentimes do not have a body in order to prosecute. Would it make it a more probable case and a more likely case to get a conviction? Well, yes, it would. However, you do not need a body to prosecute, and prosecutors have been successful in past cases in securing convictions without one.
Daniel, do you believe that she figures if they don't find little Caylee, she's going to walk scot-free on this thing?
Well, Nancy, there really is not much evidence against her. You know, there's a lot of problems with this chloroform evidence appearing magically so. Well, Nancy, nobody smelled chloroform. You on your show, I heard about the officer smelling a dead body. 30 days later, you smell chloroform.
Nobody
in the car,
smelled.
No.
Nobody smelled.
Find it chemically.
As I was trying to say, Daniel Horowitz, The samples to the FBI and the air samples apparently to the Body Farm, a very high-tech lab in Tennessee, show not just traces, but a significant amount of chloroform. And Daniel, I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't buy it.
I'm sure you think it was all planted.